I thought this was going to be a simple remodel, just turning a Japanese-style room into a Western-style one. But somehow, it turned into a full-blown demolition. And the reason for that? Wasn't just termites. This time, I'm fixing the part I was most worried about, the sill plate.
怪しい箱があるな、これ。
ドラクエっぽい。
First, I need to remove the floor panels.
飲み込んどるな。こっちから外そうか。
The floor beam, eaten away by termites, has been revealed. The floor panels are locked deep inside the wall.
外したいな。なんとか。うわ、壁来るな。
If I just yank it out, the whole wall might come with it.
壁来ちゃうね。下にビス売ってるんだよね、全部。家ごと揺れるな。
I don't know exactly where the nails are, so I'm just jamming in the multi-tool and hoping for the best.
この B が何の B かわからんもんな。
But there's something solid in there, and it's not just nails.
切れるわけね。
Just getting this one panel off is taking way too long. Originally, I planned to leave these panels as they were, before I found out about the termite damage. But now that I need to replace the floor beam, I'm debating whether I should remove them all. On top of that, the storage and ceiling, which weren't even in the original plan, need work now too. And if I end up replacing the entire floor, I'll have to rethink both the schedule and the budget. I really hope the termite damage isn't too bad. Some of the beams still seem solid enough to hold, despite the damage.
こっち OK やね。これと、まあ、生きてるから、こっから、もうこの一軒だけにしよっか。変えるのは。もう、切れないもんね。うん。
なんか落ちたね、今。
There are also some sketchy spots that have nothing to do with the termites. This beam is beyond saving. It's getting replaced entirely. Honestly, I'd love to just rip everything out and replace all the beams, posts, and concrete pier blocks. But if I go too far with the demolition, it might mess with the walls too, so I have to be careful. The floor panels are way sturdier than I expected, which makes them a pain to remove.
てある。
If this were a traditional wooden house, this would be a simple fix. But with this lightweight steel frame house, there are just too many unknowns. Honestly, it's hard to make a decision.
5寸9
To decide whether to replace all the beams, I'll check the floor level with a laser.
4寸1号4寸3分5厘めちゃくちゃ低い。ちょっと極端だね。こっちも取るわやっぱり。
The doorway, which should be level, is completely off. Looks like the sill plate was uneven from the start, so the door frame was installed at an angle.
なんだろうね。
そんなサクサクしてる。
お菓子みたいだね。
うん。
なんかモルタル調整したっぽいね。
And now I've got another problem on my hands.
やり直さないとカタカタ言っちゃうね。
うん。
Since this is an entryway, I'd like to get it level, but if I do
2
that,
寸4分と2寸2分。あ、待てよ。
インプラス入らなくなる。
レベル調整するとサッシが入らんくなるんか。
so I can't just make the floor perfectly level. I guess I'll just have to work around it. I was about to attach the new floor beam to the sill plate, but of course, I found another problem.
まさか。
マジか。もうダメだ。
それも変えなあかん？
いや、もう
無理。
これってさ、向こうの土台なんだけどさ、これ値段、向こうの部屋落ちちゃうな。
取ったらね。
The plywood spacer between the sill plate and the floor beam rotted away, causing the beam to sink.
とりあえずこ
At
れを
this
パッ
rate,
キンでさ、
the floor in the next room is
浮か
gonna
せて
sag too.
固定しようか。なんかすごい嫌な仕事するね、これ。
Even between the floor joists and the sill plate, they just shoved some plywood spacers. Before I can even fix the termite damage, I need to stabilize this shaky sill plate.
いけそう。
置いてるだけなんだね。
え、アンカー入ってない。
やるな。パッキン行ってなんか調整するわ。
はい。
You never really know what's hiding inside a house until you start tearing things apart. Sometimes I think, maybe I was better off not knowing. Actually, I had a feeling this might happen, so I brought some foundation spacers just in case.
動かなくなった。中身ないね。怖っ。
Now I'm marking the joints for the floor beam using a framing square.
かんか、こんなところですぐ切ったな。
I'll cut out part of the existing floor beam and splice in a new section.
色に寸5厘。6色に寸8分5厘。
Checking the natural bends and twists in the wood. When I install this floor beam, I want it to sag just slightly in the center. This floor beam wasn't milled very precisely. It's got some warping. So even if I cut it straight with a circular saw, the front and back cuts won't match up exactly. That's why hand saws are actually better for this kind of work. I'm using a simple half-lap joint to connect the floor beams. I chisel down about 1 to 2 millimeters on the spacer so the floor beam sits level. I managed to replace only the termite damaged parts and splice the floor beams together. Next, I'll fully replace one of the floor beams. Since the sill plate feels a little unstable, I'm also going to replace the support members. In a traditional wooden house, the sill plate would provide support, but in this house, there's no wooden sill around the perimeter. So, I'll install a support beam directly onto the sill plate.
$185これをこれ182素敵182お素敵
Since urethane glue doesn't bond well to rusty steel, I need to grind the surface a bit. This floor beam has some twisting, and the bottom edge isn't sitting flat, so I'll secure it with screws. If I don't do this before the glue sets, the floor beam might start lifting. Renovation is all about making adjustments on the fly. And in the end, making everything straight.
待てよ
Next, I'm fixing the window frame area.
レベル調整するとサッシが入らんくなるんか。
I tried adjusting the floor level, which was way off,
わ、最悪。
and the sill plate crumbled.
最悪です。
なんかな、これ。これ切るわ。
One problem after another. The more I try to fix things, the more unexpected issues pop up. They say, let sleeping dogs lie. And honestly, that phrase has been running through my head all day. Maybe I should have just replaced everything from the start. If I tore it all out, yeah, it'd be more work. But at least I wouldn't have to think so much. And if we're going this far, might as well pour a concrete slab, replace all the foundation blocks. I really want to do a full replacement, but I also want to keep it simple. That's the struggle.
67、6ミリの差があって、アンピソロは
There's a 6mm difference between the left and right sides. If I make it perfectly level, the flooring won't fit into the window frame.
ちょっと下げるべきだった。ここに近づけたいんだよね。
I just want to get it as level as possible.
あー、182やな。
And I need to make sure the pre-ordered inner windows fit.
下げたいんだよね。
182なんだけど、185ぐらいにすれば
ちょっとよく
近
ない。
づくよねっていう話をしてた。
一応さ、まあ床側で調整できるもんね。3ミリなら。
うん。
6ミリはちょっと偉いな。
I'll lower the back corner by 3mm. And then, lower the front by 1.5mm while shaving 1.5mm off the floorboard. Now, installing the joist supports. The seal plate here is weak, so I'm worried if the concrete screws will hold. And actually, I've got one more problem left.
ここが沈んでるの分かる？
はい。あ、はいはい。
I can't figure out where the nails are, so getting this panel off is a pain. For some reason, this one just won't budge.
Mm, 下からビスで留めとるね。なんでだろう。
The floor panel is actually fixed to the sill plate.
ここから向こうが大工さんが入っとるから廊下直したのとかでしょ、うん、これで下から斜めビスで留めとったんだよ。ここがふわふわするから、うん、だけど多分こっちはその時要は直せんかったんじゃないかな。
When did the termite damage actually start in this house? Apparently, the entrance hallway behind this sliding door was remodeled at some point.
結構下がっとるな、これな。
They probably replaced the right side of the sill plate from the entrance side. Maybe they ran out of time to fix this room. Or maybe they wanted to, but just couldn't.
おお。
Behind this sill plate is the entrance tiles. If I remove the floor panel, there's a chance the entrance tiles will crack, so I'll leave it in place while working.
ここにパッキンをかましてくれ。うちパッキン率高くね。チクチだね。パッキンちょうだい。ここいくつ
180。
奥は
181。
じゃあ181に設定するわ。
Since I'm working from under the floor, I'll adjust the spacers while Yo-chan checks the level.
ここら辺でいいところで見てみて。
125。
おお、いいね。ちょっとウレタンボンド持ってきてもらえる？
It's already dark outside, but we've been working non-stop. All of this happened in just one day. Since we never know what we'll uncover until we start tearing things down, we just have to handle each problem as it comes. We managed to replace the termite damaged sill plate. Now at least, we don't have to worry about the floor sinking. Next, I'll install steel piers to level the floor.
Mm. これ？中にコンクリート詰まっとるから、十分強度あります。下手にこう変えて新しい使い石があると、かえって今まで何十年も座りがいいやつを掘ってまたやるわけだから、かえって弱くなっちゃう。
そのまま使うってことね。
そのまま使った方が丈夫です。
Somehow we managed to finish the underfloor work in one day. Now we put the floor panels back. We're applying termite treatment, focusing on the new materials. And with that, we managed to fix the floor in a day. In the end, we kept the floor repairs to a minimum. We reinforced the beams and adjusted the floor level. Now that the underfloor work is done, the floor feels sturdier than I expected. Next time, we'll finish the flooring. Will things go smoothly this time?
ああ、一発目これは。
Thanks for watching. On our Japanese YouTube channel, you can watch all the videos with Yo-chan's Japanese narration and English subtitles. Feel free to check it out. Please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.